All right, well, welcome to Dallas ISD's Racial Equity Office's Black History Special Edition. This is going to be good. So I want everyone to just take a few seconds and introduce yourself. Tell us about who you are and what you do for Dallas ISD.
My name is Hope Crockett, and I serve as the dance manager for Dallas ISD.
Awesome.
My name is Yolanda Burton. I'm a visual arts teacher at Carter High School.
I am Gwina Bennett Price, and I am the Theater Conservatory Director at Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts.
It is so lovely to be at the table with all of you. And so we're going to get into some conversation about what you do and how important this is to our community, our students. And so my first question, who has influenced your artistry and why?
When I think about myself, I don't necessarily think of a who.
Okay.
Now, there are artists that influence what I do visually, for instance, like Thomas Blackshear. I can think of him. But for the most part, I think my life inspires my artwork. And so when I create, a lot of times it's those experiences that I have, whether it's how I grow up or where I went to school or the people that I meet who really do influence it, but it's not a who, it's kind of broad.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I want to go to you, Ms. Bennett Price. How has your arts program made a difference in the lives of your students?
I will say that most of our students come there because they think they really want to be actors. But what they really discover is that they're actually scholar artists. They really become the best speakers in the room, the people who can do the presentation, the people who are not afraid to lead. They learn collaboration on a level that you cannot teach any other way. We have to have all the pieces to make the whole work, and everyone's job is important. And there's something for everyone to do in the theater, big or small, and it's all important. So I think we learn to value what we bring to the group by being a part of theater arts.
And so with that in Dallas ISD, to be able to start on that elementary level, on that elementary stage, starting to comprehend all of the things that you guys are talking about with the arts, with the visual arts, with the performing arts, and I see you ready. Let's go.
That's the seed planted.
Man.
That's the seed. So if we don't plant the seed when they're fresh and when the brain can just absorb, they're sponges and they're excited. So if we plant the seed at that level through experiences with music and dance, visual art, theater tech even, having them create those things, then we are actually we're setting it on a fertile ground. My husband and I actually did a thesis, and we did the research, this was back in the 90s, that every student that was engaged in the arts programming, they were scoring higher on those assessments.
Absolutely.
So the thing is if the parents, as well as the teachers, as well as administration, understood that we're opening up pathways in the brain, we have to make sure that we include those things that are significant to the students.
We see a lot of success stories, and it's so important that to know that behind every success story is a process, is an experience, multiple experiences that got them there. And as the adult or as the child, it's our responsibility to offer up experiences so that they can see what they don't know. You have to put in the work. You have to start somewhere. And I would just encourage them to start, to explore, to investigate, because there are so many avenues that you can go into through the arts, tech, being a performer, helping with stage. Like, it's just so much that can be done. I remember growing up, people would be like, what are you going to do with dance? Like, you can't, what you going to do with dance? What you going to do with art? And look at where we are. We're sitting at a table discussing this. We're sitting at a table because we are influencers, because we encourage our youth to express themselves and use their expression to be the ones that influence and make a change and make a difference in the world. And so
we actually have an opportunity to hit them at every single level, and then they can master at the top, right? So how did you get those masters coming back into your classroom, right?
Right. Well, it's reaching them when they're the most free. So if you put an expert in front of a child, even if they never spoke Spanish, but they're being immersed in Spanish, they're Spanish speaking in a very short time. So that's exactly what it is. It's immersing them in the arts. And like I say, the blessing of my career as a teacher has been I had the opportunity. I started at Wilmer Hutchins Performing Arts High School. They tried it for 2 years. My kids are still, most of them, working in the arts and doing amazing things. Then a middle school, that was definitely for the arts. An elementary school for the arts, and now a high school. So I'm able to see some of the kids I had in elementary arts program at George Washington Carver be top of the heap at Booker T when they come through. And these are Black and brown kids who became presidential scholars and young arts finalists who came from that George Washington Carver program over there, where we were counted out, where our scores were second to the lowest in the state. But they learned every single line of every single show we ever put on them. And that was always a bit of confusion. How are they learning all of these lines and they can't read? Oh, yes, they can.
It's because that art expands their brain.
That's right.
You know, when you learn through the arts, they actually learn to attain things that the kids can't. I mean, it would be very difficult for them to do if they never had exposure like that.
It takes a very special parent to see that spark in their child and be willing to cultivate it. It's so normal to think, oh, that's not going to make money. You're worried about the wrong thing. Worry about how your child is going to be enriched by this experience. And I see it every day. It's overwhelming sometimes how much support our kids are getting. And I just think to myself, I wish every child had a parent who would say, yes, I support you in that crazy thing you want to try, because they have no idea how much they're opening up their kid to go for what they love and not suppress it. My mother told me I couldn't go to Booker T. I hear that all the time from fully realized adults whose parents thought they were really protecting and helping, but they stifled by saying no. If that child is gifted in academics, they can still really add to who they are academically by having artistic experiences. It elevates your academic work.
I just remember myself as a student. I was not interested in school at all. The only thing that made me want to go to school is knowing that I had after school practice. So I'd be in school all day, in class all day, just making it. And when I got to dance, it just lit up my whole day. But I knew that I got to express myself. I got to get out everything that I was feeling and explore, investigate how movement could change me. As teachers, we get to be the ones to identify the spark. We get to be the ones to feed and pour into our young artists and make them into outstanding citizens in the world. One thing I would teach my students is it's not about being better than the person next to you. It's being better than you were yesterday. Am I improving? Am I growing? Am I assessing myself to see, have I elevated in this area? Have I mastered this area? And one thing I also remember is needing to like consume or have products, but not understanding how to get there. And so one of my favorite classes in school, in college, was improvisation. I'll turn off the lights and I'll say, this is how I'm feeling today. And I'll just start moving. And then they get to experience through movement how Miss Crockett feels today. We're not looking, we got a dim light going. No one's looking at you, no one's judging you. You don't need validation from me. Validate yourself.
I love that.
So,
That is so rich. Life is an improvisation. You're teaching a life skill. We're doing it right now. And you're having scenes with people all the time. And you're figuring out how to use your body in situations all day long. And you give them permission to know that that's okay. You don't have to always know that you're next to move. And that's okay.
Yeah, we have brave spaces.
Yes.
We create the brave spaces. Yeah. So
Another wonderful point you're making is like what we get to do in terms of assessing. We look at a baseline for where that child is, not compared to the next child, compared to where they started and now where they go. Imagine if that's how math was assessed. I'm better than I was yesterday. I mean, I don't know how they do that, but we get to do that.
Yeah.
And we build the rubric out to do that. I'm not trying to make you get all to the same level. I'm trying to make you grow from where you started.
Oh, I love this conversation. I hear equity, I hear exposure, I hear investment, I hear all the words that our students need to hear. It is sometimes data-driven based on where we want our students to be compared to other students in mathematics, in reading. And we know that it's driven. That is just part of our culture. Our students have the potential. They are able to be a part of a society and go after their dreams and become artists in whatever form of arts that they want to be a part of. It's all about being true to yourself. Yeah. I love that.
In this day and time, we're blessed that we can curate the career we want to have and create the world we want to be in. And it does mean producing the best quality work you possibly can, because that's what longevity is made of.
So to all our listeners, our audiences, most importantly, Dallas ISD students, we want you to be the best that you can be and go out and learn your craft. Be true to yourself and just uplift your own artistry because we believe in you. Have a good evening.